So I'm about to do my meal prep, and I'm going to be having these zucchini noodles with a meat sauce. So I got these from Target. Target has started carrying these along with butternut squash and also sweet potato noodles. So I tried the butternut squash ones with some shrimp and they were pretty good. So today I am just going to saute up some of this ground beef and mix it into this spaghetti sauce and put this all together. Since this is going to be way too much for me to eat, I will probably I'm going to mix up the meat sauce and then freeze part of it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so I put in some onion down here at the bottom for just about a minute before I put this beef in. And now I'm going to brown this up. I seasoned it with salt and pepper because one thing I've learned is that you want to season at every step. So you don't wait until the end to put your seasoning. You put it as you go. So I'm going to cook this up. And then I'm just going to pour the sauce in. This is really easy. It's not going to take very long at all. Okay, so after the ground beef was done with the onions, I went ahead and just poured the entire jar in here. And I added some of this Italian seasoning. And once this is done cooking, I am going to take out about half of it so that I can put in the freezer and freeze it for later. And then the rest of it, I am going to add my zucchini noodles to. Okay, so I took out half of this and I'm going to put that in the freezer. So now here are my zoodles. And I figure that a serving for me is going to be maybe about 1.5 ounces or so of these noodles and about 2.5 ounces of the meat. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So I'm only going to eat this for the next 3 days, and then whatever is left, I'm going to give it to my friend when she comes over Monday night. So, but I don't want too much zoodles in here, so now I'm going to put a big handful in there for her. Just a little bit more. Okay, there's my unscientific method there. So now I'm going to cook these all together because these are raw right now. So they're very al dente. And even when I cook it in here for a few minutes, it's not going to be enough to make them super soft. I just want them to be heated up and not be, you know, totally raw when we eat them. Okay, so you don't need to watch me stir this up. I'm going to stir this up and then I'm going to put it in my containers here. So I ended up with 3 servings for myself and then 1 larger serving for my friend. This is about 4.5 ounces each. I'm not sure if I can eat that much, but because the zucchini is in there and the sauce kind of weighs it down, I'm hoping that it's still a portion that I can eat. And so this is going to be for my dinner for the next 3 days. And the rest of my meal prep is just going to be very simple. I'm going to have some tuna for lunch every day, so I don't need to show you that. And for breakfast every morning, I am just going to have some sausage and some strawberries. So I will show you some pictures of my breakfast and lunch, but there's no need for me to show you a meal prep for that. Bye. So this is the next morning, and this is my breakfast. I'm having these Applegate chicken and sage breakfast sausages and some blueberries. My favorite breakfast is always protein and a little bit of fruit. and my doctor's office prefers berries because they're lower in carbs. So that's what I mostly stick to, although sometimes I'll have a half of an apple or half of a banana. Okay, so now it's time for lunch. Last night before I went to bed, I made up some tuna salad. I just used 1 can of tuna and my sandwich spread that I like, and I put in some chopped onions. I divided it up into 2 servings, so I put it in my container, and now I am having it on these Wassa crackers. I've shown these before. I absolutely love these Wassa crackers, the crisp and light. They do make several other kinds, which must be more popular because those are easy to find, but this one is hard to find, and I actually don't like the other ones. Here are the stats for 3 slices. It is 14 carbs and 2 fibers, so 12 net carbs for 3. I am having 2, so that's going to be, so it's like 4 carbs each, 4 net carbs each, and then a little bit of protein, and very low in calories. So these are the ones I like, but like I said, very hard to find. But this is my lunch, and thank you for watching. You've already seen what I'm having for dinner. So I'm about to do my meal prep for the next few days, and I have a busy few days, so my meal prep is going to be insanely easy. I'm not even making any complicated recipes at all. So for breakfast, I am going to be having some deviled eggs with blueberries. For lunch, I am going to be grilling this chicken, putting it on top of this spring mix, and adding some of this dressing. Bolthouse Farms, I really love all of their dressings, even though I've never tried this particular one before. Hopefully you can see these stats here. Only 4 grams of carbs and 2 tablespoons and 45 calories and 2 protein. I've tried their Parmigiano Reggiano Caesar, I think it is. That's the one I usually use, and I really like that one, so I've never tried their regular Caesar. For dinner, I'm going to be having some red trout, so I'm going to show you how I do this. It's very easy, and I'm going to be having some roasted, probably need more light on, some roasted green beans. I already had opened this up and used it once last week. And since today is my day off, I already had tuna for lunch today, but for dinner I'm just going to be having these mussels. So the fish, that's for dinner for the next 2 days. This is what I'm going to have for dinner today. On the days that I cook, I usually don't cook for myself on the days that I cook. So this is, I love this. I get it from Sprouts. You just put it in the microwave. And so, yeah, that's what I'm having for dinner today while I'm cooking all of this. So stay tuned. So a Caesar salad, a chicken Caesar salad is pretty boring, but to me what makes it taste really good is when you grill your own chicken. So yeah, I could buy frozen chicken and just thaw it out, but it doesn't really taste as good as when you do it yourself. And so I'm using this little grill. It's an electronic grill that I just plugged into the wall here. And I have my chicken here that's seasoned, and I am just going to put it on this grill. So one thing that's made life really easy for me is the discovery that you can roast frozen vegetables. So I just take, so these are frozen green beans that I just put on this cookie sheet. I tossed them with some olive oil and I sprinkled some salt and pepper. And now I'm just going to put these in the oven until they are done. I've got my eggs going here, and then my chicken is still grilling away. Okay, so these are my green beans. I did take them out once and I flipped them over, and you can see they have a nice They're nice and roasted, and it really didn't take all that long. I wasn't timing it, but it didn't take that long at all. And here's my chicken. So of course, if you know me, now I'm going to chop this up and I'm going to weigh it, and I'm going to divide it out into individual portions. And I do need to take my eggs off the stove. So next, while the oven is hot, I am going to be putting my fish in the oven. Okay, those green beans are so good. I had some extra and I'm eating them as a snack right now. So they're in my prep containers here, ready for my fish. So this is what is in this packet here. And about a month ago or so, I mentioned these, that my Sprouts used to carry them, but then they discontinued them, and I bought like 10 of them because I love them, and they have all different types of fish. So this one is trout, and what I like best about it is that they give you parchment paper, and then you just put the fish in the parchment paper, and then you have a sauce for the fish. And it's really easy. So I'm using the same pan that I just used for the green beans. I just put a different sheet of foil on it, and now I'm about to put this in the oven. Now before surgery, this used to just be a quick dinner. I would cook it and then eat it for dinner, but now after surgery, I can't eat all of this fish, so it's always nice for just 2 servings. So my kitchen is so hot that everything is already starting to melt. So you see the parchment paper is in the shape of a heart, and then these are the little sauce cubes, and then you just wrap it up in this parchment paper. So I mean, of course this tastes better if you eat it the same day that you make it, but you know, after having surgery, I've had to get used to the idea that I'm not going to be able to eat all of my food in the same day. So that's why it's like, well, I might as well make this part of my meal prep and just eat it for the next 2 days. Why not? Okay, so this is the finished product that I just took out of the oven. Now, I don't know what I'm going to see inside because I forgot to set my timer. So I hope that I did leave it in here for the right amount of time. So I'm going to slit this, but I don't think I can do it with one hand, so you're just going to have to wait a second. So I opened it up and I stuck my thermometer in here, and the fish is not done. So I'm really upset because now I've messed up the steam feature here of my parchment paper, but I'm going to put the fish back in for a few minutes. Okay, so the fish still looks moist and juicy. I slightly undercooked it since I'm going to be reheating it in the microwave, but that looks really good. Okay, so now I'm going to finish up my deviled eggs, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to be eating for the next few days. So my meal prep is done for the next few days. Here are my deviled eggs, which I'm going to have with blueberries. Here is my chicken. So there's about 3 ounces in here, so they're already weighed out, so I don't have to worry about it. This is my lettuce. So I wanted to talk about this. This is just an ordinary salad spinner. You know, I washed my lettuce and then I spun it in here. And I have found that this keeps my lettuce fresh for about a week or even over a week. I don't know if it's because I leave the tiny bit of water that's in here. I go ahead and I leave that there, and I store it in my refrigerator with the lid on top just like that, and it just stays fresh for a very long time. So this is going to last me until I can actually eat all of that lettuce. And then here is my trout with my green beans. The sauce is going to help it stay moist when I reheat it. And yeah, this is just a simple, easy meal prep. I have found, you know, since I work from home and I work very long hours, that if I don't meal prep, then I'm going to be tempted to pull things out of the cabinet and eat things that I shouldn't eat. When I already have food that is ready to go, then I am not as tempted. And this was very easy. It only took me about an hour to do this. Thanks for watching.